det for oss at så mange kunne komme til dette arrangementet. Det betyr stort for oss. Mitt navn Obah Aden, og leder for forumet som setter I gang dette arrangementet. Det som I dag at jeg har blitt informert, som jeg nødt til å ta opp, og det at somaliere jo en av de minoritetsgruppene I Norge. Og det vi har stort sett hørt og lest om negative ting. Veldig mye om negative. Noen kan jo stemme, men ikke alt. Og det som veldig interessant at alle snakker om oss og for oss. Dette skal være stopp. Vi skal snakke for oss selv. Derfor har jeg satt I gang et forum som skal sette I gang debattserier. Kritiske temaer skal vi ta opp, enten det gjelder fra det samfunnet vi kom fra, og samfunnet vi lever I. Og et av de temaene vi tar opp nå likestilling. I den sammenheng så har vi invitert 3 prominente, engasjerte damer. Alle 3 kommer fra 3 forskjellige verdener. 2 av dem her. Den ene har ikke dessverre rukket flyet sitt, og hun var likestillingsministeren fra Puntland. Og når du skal reise helt fra Somalia, så det flere flytransporter som du må passe på. Og hvis du mister ett, hva skjer da? Du mister resten. Så hun kunne ikke komme. Men vi har fått 2 som skal være hovedspeakers. Og denne debatten skal være på somali. Over I morgen skal være samme tematikk, men på somali. Så alle som kan somali kan gjerne velkommen til Røde Kors. Og somali jo et veldig lett språk, den kan læres veldig fort. Jeg ønsker debatten skal ledes 2 konferansierer. Det Rakia Bihi. Hvor Rakia Bihi? Ja. Og Omar Abdi. Rakia, som dere kjenner, hun var tidligere leder for Somali Studentforening. Hun utdannet bachelor I studiet I forvaltning. Tar ny studie I sosialantropolog. Hun evig student. Hun nettopp, eller vært I Somalia og jobbet der. Hun har stor hjerte I tematikken vi tar opp.
Mariam Qasim, she's a medical doctor by training, and she previously served as an obstetrician. I don't know how to pronounce the word. Living and working in various places, including Somalia, Yemen, the Netherlands, and the UK. And in 2010, she acted as the Minister of Women Development and Family Affairs in the federal government of Somalia. Welcome, Mariam.
Good evening. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. I have put something right there. Okay. Tonight, I'm really very happy that all those people are here to listen to us. But also we want to hear from your side. So it will be, we will tell you, and then we want also to hear from you. The topic of women, whether it is from the Islamic side, whatever it is very interesting topic, and it is something that I like and have passion for. So let me start with women in general. I will divide my talk into 3 parts. First, I want to see what women is doing everywhere. Whether it's Somalia, Norway, America, England, what's the situation of women? Then I will focus a little bit. What is the role of women in Islam? Or how was it presented in the very early days of Islam. Because it is really very different how it used to be and what we see now. Then, the third part, I want, because I was asked to tell something about the challenges a Muslim Somali woman in the diaspora faces. So that's, I can take my story as an example, or any story of any Somali woman who lives either in England or America or Norway. So let me start with the status of women in the society everywhere in the world, everywhere in the globe. The status of women, this issue, it is still under discussion. It's not a new issue, nor is it a fully settled one. The role of Muslim women in the society is one of the most misunderstood concepts in Islam among the Muslims themselves, let alone non-Muslims. So many overcautious non-Islamic practices have been integrated into various Muslim cultures, so much so that many Muslims think that those practices are part of the religion. So you can see, even it is misunderstood among Muslims themselves. And so many cultures are thought to be a part of religion, while they are not so. So, what the West has seen, what we presented to the West, it's not the real picture. While the Muslims themselves, most of them, mix between cultures and the religion. And it has been presented to the West with the least objectivity. So that is how there are misconceptions around the issue of women in Islam. Now, if I put just in the picture about the challenge women are facing everywhere, women around the world often face daunting social, economic, and political challenges in every country. I lived the last 13, 14 years in the UK, so just if I take the example of the UK. Just 100 years ago, there were no female politicians in the House of Parliament at all, just 100 years ago. But there is a change, although it is slow and gradual. Despite the struggle of all the feminists and human rights activists, the full-time gender pay gap in the UK is 10%. And the part-time gender pay gap is 34%. So women's rights are profoundly affected by social and economic factors. Social practices, customary laws, poverty, war, illiteracy often subvert the status of women. To conclude this, the status of women, it's affected. And we try to explain to them, this is covering my body. It's not covering my intellect. It's not covering my brain. It is just covering my body. So I'm a human being. I can react with you. I want to be active in this new community, and I want to contribute. Because Islam teaches you, wherever you go, you have to positively contribute. So one of the challenges is just that you are different from the others, that you have this dress code.
Words, these are Somali women who are toiling to do all the house chores, taking care of the children. And this might be a rural Somali woman, but come to the Norway or the US or the UK, Somali women are raising kids, they're working, they're cooking, they're cleaning. On the top of it, they are entertaining their husbands. Who bear the brunt of war? Let's get back. Some of you young girls who might remember during this internally displaced communities, there mostly is women, unfortunately. Where are the men? They're the one who are making the war. And ultimately, the one who is in line, trying to get their share of the food, the kids who are only women, children, and youth is what you see. And I didn't make this up. It's all true information and true pictures that represent Somalia today. So whether it's internal displacement, mass and abject poverty, displaced youth, and women disproportionately carry the weight. You can see those who bear the brunt of war. It's not only women, it's youth who've lost, they're supposed to be in school, getting education and investment. What they do is they are part of the war. They've been recruited by their clan elders or Al-Shabaab, or they are dying in the high seas to look for opportunity, but what did they find? They found death. How many of them died in the high seas? I love this slide. What it tells me is the contrasting role of men and women. And I love this because sometimes I know, sorry guys, Somali guys who are here, who are good fathers and good husbands, but this is speaking to the bad ones, okay? So you can see men selling card or chewing card or fighting, women actually washing and cleaning and taking care of the children. That is a true picture of Somalia today. Somali attitude toward women is conceptually shaped by mutually three reinforcing factors. One is the misinterpreted Sharia law that Mariam spoke to. I myself had to study Islam and women because there were so many misconceptions that I thought I couldn't tell whether it's the culture or the religion. But I'm telling you, all young ladies who are here, who are going to school, it's your job to learn and determine what Islam and women is all about. Don't let anyone or a man dictate you. You learn. Then you figure out that, in fact, Islam liberated women. Islam said all of you have the right to live, right to education, right to anything that you want, so long as it's consistent with good manners, and that is just universal truth. The customary law, the three mutually reinforcing forces, the customary law, that in fact says that women, their main responsibility is to rear and bear children. They have no place in decision making. They can weed, they can farm, they can bring the money, but they don't control how to spend. You understand what I'm talking about. And of course, the patriarchal society where, which is fine. You are born wherever you are born. We all believe in destiny, but those are the three important things that anyone who's interested in research can check and do more on it, but these are my conclusions. And with the interest of time, I do want to kind of go fast, because I don't want Omar to come and tell me the time is up. Because I wanted to talk about how we can improve. So customary law and culture view of Somali women, woman exclusion of decision-making power, political, social, and economical, not assume obligations of clan due to marrying from other clans. Women have no fighting capacity. In fact, they do, but that's what they think. Women don't own property in pastoral society. Women don't contribute to blood compensation. So because of that, in fact, that was one of the backwardness of the culture. Changing roles of Somali women in raising their families, I'm not gonna explain that, it's a fact. Informal and petty trade. Somali women work very hard. They bake, they sell qab, they sell tea. If you see, whenever there is actually a suicide bombing, most of those who harm are women. You can see them because they're just trying to make their living, to support their kids go to universities. And they are part and the parcel of society. The only thing is they have no place in the round table. They have no say in any of these things. They are community organizers. You've seen the video that was shown. They are part and the parcel of the society, Somali society. They have no access to the commonly owned resources. These are the resources given by the West, or even the revenues that's collected. They have no hand in it. They have no power to collect taxes, nor do they have anyone to give it to them. Political advocacy with no political voice. if you talk about women, Somali women, especially during the election years, I'm sorry to say sometimes I feel they use women because they're the one who are clapping behind men, singing X, Y, live long, all these things. But when it comes to counting and choosing ministers, I think they lack that support, unfortunately. They are the ones who are internally displaced and powerless. Anyway, I wanted to just tell you a little thing that really makes me laugh because there's sometimes some truth to it. So it says, what's more valuable to a patriotic society, a woman or a camel? You know, camel is the pride of Somalia. So in fact, some of you, I will read it both in Somali and in English. It says, when a camel dies, a man is singing. And he's talking about when a camel dies, and when a woman dies, and when he dies, the consequences of 3 consequences. So when it says, Geridadana, he's talking about the camel, Geridadana gawa madaniyo kachalagata. If you die, you camel, she camel, the house is left in hunger and economic instability. So it's really sad. Okay, when a woman dies, Geridahawen, good lafre iyo gursi lagata. When a woman dies, there is a happiness and opportunity for marriage. And it doesn't take sometimes even days. Look what he says the guy says about himself. When I die, when I die, that's it. Everything's, destroyed. So that is some of the traditional culture, which is really different from Islam. The right to live, the right to get education, the right to participate, these are all, in fact, we have more rights than we actually know. So we better explore. I don't want to repeat this, but the plight of Somali women can be concluded, in fact, 3 evils: poverty, inequality, be political or economical injustice, because, I don't know what happened here. I think political inequities and economic and social inequities. So basically, let me just speak to the political inequity. In fact, I participated before the transition ended in Somalia. I actually was the one who coined the 30% because I thought as an economist you should overshoot. So if you say 30%, maybe you'll get 20% representation. We got at least 15%. But we are waiting for the women we choose in the parliament now to talk about the cause of women. They need to fight for us and all this. But the reality on the ground is really different. We can all talk about Somalia, but we can also talk about here. Women need to get involved. That's all I'm going to say. Today, maybe we could all sit down and think about how we can change our situation here. And if I speak to the women in diaspora, be Sweden, Norway, US, Canada, UK, we have a lot in common here. Of course, we have a challenge. The dress code is a challenge. Being a Muslim is a challenge nowadays. I came to the United States 30 years ago, by the way, before the Civil War, and I was embraced by being different. People loved me because I was different. And it's different now. People look at me and look at whenever I go beside sometimes, people think that I'm throwing something at them. So time has changed. There's a new challenge today than 30 years ago, so I have to deal with it. But I think we should be very proactive, we should participate. I'm very impressed to see young women who are on the table now here in Norway and in the UK and in the US without us being to the forefront and trying to make change. It's not going to happen. So in fact, I think my time might be up. Yes? So let me just get to the bottom of it. What could be the solution now? I just wanted to show you the problem, the empowerment and equality of women. We're not trying to take men's place. We want to be Muslims, we want to respect our men, but also we want to get our place in the society. So how do we come up with women empowerment? I have came up with these solutions. Number 1 is to have a targeted gender policy. whether it's affirmative action, whether it's something else. Number one, changing the social conditioning. That conditions women to be just bearer and carer of children. Combating the misinterpretation of Islamic doctrine, educate women. Accountable policies and governments, we should fight. We should talk to the government. We should make them accountable. How many ministries we get? How did this happen? How many of the projects that was earmarked to women have been successful? How much of the money that was designed to go particularly to educate women or help the poor has really made and reached the intended recipients? Access to economic and political power, without that you'll be missing on the table when decisions are made. Fighting the myth of customary law. You can be assured that it's a good idea to be respectful to your religion, but traditions, you don't need to respect them if they don't make sense to you. Don't. So, potential and how. So women economic empowerment, we have to have access to finances. We have to create the general economic empowerment. We have to talk to our lawyers, women's legal and social status, education and training, labor policy and practices. So basically we want to make sure that women have access to economic resources. Here, I just want to mention here, because I did want to mention about the diaspora. I have spoke with few ladies that ever since I've been here. This is the plight I'm hearing, especially those who are in Norway. They are fearful of all these women, that their children will be taken away from them. And you know, when a mother worries about their kids being taken away from her, she has no head, she has no tail. She's traumatized already from the Civil War. She gets a phone call every day from back home, someone in need of money. When she worries about her children and separation, families being destroyed here. And those are the issues that we need to tackle. I'm very grateful to hear some of the youth I spoke to last night. Rape is one of them. I think there is a hope that you guys not be part of the destruction of the Somali family, but be part of the solution. And find out what are the problems, how you can use these institutions that you have to help you, and to help unite the family together, not to destroy and separate it. Because that alone is a trauma. We're all traumatized, we're all broken. I say this all the time. We don't need more traumatization and more divisions. Our kids, if they will be removed from their homes, there has to be better homes that have their norms, their value, their religion. And I think that is the challenges that is facing women in diaspora. And you have to fight teeth and nail to get that. If the kids is removed, sometimes, I cannot say all parents are responsible, but if there is any misunderstanding about the culture, how we discipline our kids, there should be more training for the mothers, more training for the fathers, more training for the mosques and the institutions, Somali institutions, so that at least the kids will be growing up with compassion, not thrown in institutions that have no care for them. Thank you so much. Somali women are very powerful. They are survivors, they are very resilient. I do believe they are the head and the neck. In fact, have you ever watched a movie called Big Fat Greek Wedding? Yes or no? Yes. The lady says the Greek kind of sort of have Somali culture. And the man always tries to make the decisions, but in fact it's the woman who makes the decisions. So the lady says, we are the neck, they are just the head. Who moves the head from side to side? So I do believe that women are a very integral part of the community. They're the backbone, they do many things. And in fact, we say we're excluded from politics, but we actually sometimes are responsible for politics, making politics. We're the ones who are paving the way, cooking the food. Only when the men go together, we're told to go to the kitchen, and we should say, no, we made this table, we're gonna sit here. But Somali women are very powerful. I'm very proud to be Somali. And I think we have a lot of challenges, especially those who are not lucky to be educated or who are single mothers. They have a lot of challenges. But I think it's good to be a Somali woman. We're very proud. Thank you.
Yes, I agree with what Dr. Hodan has said, but I want to look from a different angle. For me, being a Somali woman, it means to me that I'm full of potential and capacity, which I'm not allowed to use. Which I'm not allowed, I want to contribute to my society. I want to reach to the top. I want to plan and design for my country. But when I'm saying I'm speaking of a lot of women, but they are not allowed to do that, whatever, in the name of clan or in the name of whatever. So the Somali woman cannot use her full potential when it comes to our own country. You are hindered by your clan elder, by your cousin, by your brother. So I can see young women who are enthusiastic, who want to contribute, but cannot get the chance. But the way is long. Thank you.
If you look at it from 1950 till now, and how?
Okay, in fact, yes, it did. And I think we have three groups now, based on what I see. My grandmothers, which is a different generation, me, and Rake's group. My grandmother was happy to be, not to be part of the decision making. She was happy to be her role, but she was able to do trade and do all kinds of things. She really didn't care about politics because that was not in her mind. My generation, of course, I am Siad Barre's generation, which most of you know that we were really liberated. I grew up side by side with boys. I compete with them. We wore same uniform. I never felt when I was going to school that I was inferior to men or a boy. Okay, so that is the generation, my generation especially. And then you have the generation who are 23, 25, 26 now. A lot changed. The dress code changed, the norms changed. We kind of get back the tradition that looks down on women came about. And woman's role is to stay home, not to contribute anything, not to even go to school. I've seen families who have 5 children, and they will say, how many are boys? 3 and 2 girls. Oh, the girls will get married, their men will support. And they will hold the girls not to go to school because they have a meager resources. So if there is going to be one that is going to use the meager resources, it will be the boys. These are the things that I've just learned now when I went back to Somalia and do some research. Girls are staying home because don't worry about it. You're going to get married when you're 16 years old and you're going to find a man to support you. That was not like that when I was growing up. Every girl in my age, pretty much who were in the city, not talking about the rural area, went to school. So, and then you have the young girls. In fact, they're different in many aspects. So my generation, we still do the dual role. We still work, we still cook for our husbands, we don't challenge them. We're happy to take that dual role. The young generation, in fact, I surveyed 2 young couples in Canada, and they both got married when they were in college. Now the girl comes home, there are 2 apartments, both of them have their backpacks. When she comes in, she throws the backpack on the floor, goes to the kitchen, make a peanut butter sandwich, and the guy comes, the little husband comes, and he says, honey, can you make me one? And she says, go get your own. I'm not responsible for it. Some of you consider that to be liberating, but it has to be something that you have to work marriage. But that's different. I come from work, I go straight to the kitchen. Get my role as a woman, cook and clean and serve my husband and take care of my children. So there is a generational differences now. Whether that's going to contribute to healthy family, that's something that we'll have to see. But that's time, and time changes.
Yes, I completely agree with Dr. Adam, but I want to bring something. It's not only Somalia, it's the whole world changing. Even in Norway, 50 years ago, women and women of today are completely different. I want to share with you, last week, I went to Doha, Qatar, to participate in the WISE Summit, WISE World Innovation Summit for Education. And it's hosted by the Amira of Qatar, Sheikh Moussa. Because she made a pledge to bring back 10 million children to school and retain them. So she has this big program which is called Education Above All, and it has sub-programs like Educate a Child, the WISE Summit, all those things. And it's the third year that I'm going there because education is something near to my heart. This year we had also a special guest, Michelle Obama. So, because also she's focusing on girls' education. So just from 50 years from now, so in her speech she said her grandmother couldn't vote. She was not allowed to vote. She said, my mother, she said, couldn't open a credit card. There must be a male with her in order that a male who is responsible for her, and that's in America. And she was speaking about herself. The point was about education, and she said she studied, and this education took her to one of the best colleges in America, and up to the way to the White House. so in every country you can see me, my daughters, my mother. It's different. It's due to the time. Time is changing. In our time, there were no computers, there was no internet when I was a student. And the youth of today, 24/7, they are on the net, they are with you, they are laughing, they are speaking with you. So whenever I enter and I see somebody here, and they are not talking to each other again, everybody is laughing. I say everybody is on a different island. So it's due to the change in time, change in technology, innovation. So it's not the same. And there will be even another generation when those young ladies become old, it will be different. So it is due to the change that's taking place everywhere. Thank you.
And that question is, you mentioned that you did your role as a mom when you came back from the work. Does it make you a woman? That, I mean, when I'm saying does it make you a woman, I see women always, people define it as marginalized, excluded. So does it make you that?
Me?
Yeah.
It makes me a fairy woman. Yes, I am very happy to do what I do because I'm the one who chooses to work, and when I come home as a mother, I think that's my basic responsibility, and a wife, and I have no problem with that. You could be liberated, but you have to, in fact, do your duty as a woman. And I don't challenge my husband because he does also have other responsibility that he does, that he's good at. So it's like almost comparative advantage. Everybody should do what they're good at. And I think I wouldn't mind, and I don't feel marginalized. I'd rather feel marginalized if I were not serving my kids meals. Thank you.
When I used to go to the university in order to do this Dutch program, when I came from university, directly I used to go to the kitchen because I have also responsibility towards my children. I have to cook, I have to look at their clothes, I have to. Then when I finish with them, then I have to bring all those books and I have to do my assignment. So it is those responsibilities, you cannot, if you have responsibility towards your children, so you cannot just say, I'm becoming empowered, so I will leave the family thing. No, it doesn't work like that. Thank you.
To a foreign country, Europe, the States, do you think people bring a lot of, like, now I'm talking about women, do you think they bring a lot of luggage? Because in Somalia you're told what, like, Gabarata, you can't do that, you're a woman, you can't do that. So do you think when they come to Norway or any country, they bring the luggage of people telling them, no, you can't do that? Because you know, some of them, they learn the language and then they get a job. And then you have some people that actually it's hard for them to learn the language. Do you guys think it's because they bring the luggage with them?
Package, you mean?
Yeah, sorry, but
Yes.
And how can they kind of work on getting rid of that luggage?
Well, anyway, when you come to a country, it's hard to get rid of the social norms. And then, of course, you have your grandma's Dardaram, and she'll tell you do this and do that, and don't look at this guy, and don't look at this girl. So, plus all the things, the do's and the don'ts. And of course, some of us make sense of all these do's. Like Marian said, when a girl comes to the West, there are things that you must do, and there are things that you can do or you can live without it. So it depends on these do's and don'ts. I think most of the time, the things that my grandma told me or my mother told me, some of them I left them at the airport. They couldn't serve me at all. And it was not like I was crossing the road. It just didn't make sense because a different environment, different this and different that. But that there are really very important wisdom that mothers and grandparents tell their kids that are very valuable. So I think it depends. If it's something that does not work in their community, there's no point of lingering on it. You just have to get rid of it. Otherwise it becomes a baggage. But there are things that are useful in your...
To my Dutch, because I'm a Dutch national. Again, I came to the UK, I lived 14 years in the UK, so we teach our children, you got here free education, with the money of the taxpayer, I tell them always, you have to pay back. You have to work. You have to be a part of this community. So that's what we need to teach those young generation who go to the both extremes. You know how many children from the Scandinavian countries who were born in Stockholm, in Oslo, never seen Somalia, who joined the extremist groups, who went back to fight in Syria. They have never seen Somalia. So it is even inside here. So we need to educate our children, to teach them the right thing, to be good citizens. Challenges everywhere, even if they are born in Oslo. Thank you very much.
You can be a lawyer. Loyalty doesn't have to do whether you cover your hair or not. In fact, Islam teaches us a good values, to be loyal. You have to accept the constitution of this country as your constitution. And these are all the good things that will help you to become a good citizen to your country, your adopted country, your home country. That's giving you the life, the bread, the education, and the livelihood. That is very important. But at the same time, you are allowed to keep your value. There's nothing in any constitution that of the countries we adopted that says throw away your value. And you have to fight. As long as you're not doing anything wrong, I think it's important to understand and educate people that you just going about your business. There's nothing wrong with you being covered up, or if you take it out, it's all personal decisions. But being a good citizen doesn't mean you cover or you uncover. I just wanted to make that point.
How is it to be a woman in Somalia today in politics? Is it hard? How do you get into politics in Somalia?
Women getting Somali politics, it's not an easy job. Yes, it's hard. And when you look the clan system in Somalia, it's the 4.5. So one of the challenges that women from big clans, one of the challenges they face is they don't have a chance. Because in the big clan, the men are there. There is nothing for women. Like Dr. Haben, she is from one of the biggest clans in Somalia. So she will never make it. Because when they are giving, the Prime Minister and the President and them lot, the big clan, they can't give a woman. The clan will say, no, you can't give us women. To the ethnic minorities, it is easy giving them their post a woman. That's why I became a minister. Yes, because I'm from the ethnic minority. And my clan, they don't even own a pistol, let alone guns. They can't fight. So if their share is given to a woman, they can't fight, so it's okay. So it is more challenge for the women from big clans.
4.5. Can you explain 4.5? Because I saw in the video too.
Yes, sir, 3.
I can explain.
How does it work?
Yes, I've never, well, I'm married to a politician, but I'm not in the politics. Let me clarify. Yes, 4.5 is, of course, Somalia is considered to be 5 clans. Unfortunately, and I hate to say 0.5 because it's really degrading to call a group 0.5. But I think at the time, sometimes you're looking for, we always look for perfect solutions, but we never find one. My understanding is when they were establishing the transitional government, they were trying to allocate some kind of a number based on the counts, I think. So they said the 4 big clans, and they combined, and the others, all the combined were 0.5. So if anybody kind of, I really dislike the 0.5. We tried to fight very hard when I was in Mogadishu and my husband was the Prime Minister. We actually published some sort of a, what do you call it, communique saying we need to stop the 5. And some of the government policy now use the 5, but that's what 4.5 is. They share the power based on the big 4 clans, and all the smaller clans considered to be 0.5. It's very sad. It's in fact, if there is anything that happened to Somalia, that's the most disgrace that happened to Somalia. And all of you have a voice now. You need to make sure that that 0.5, 4.5 is eliminated. You have a voice, you have a power. Use it.
It was during after the Civil War, the first time when Somali people came together in Art. Then they were discussing how to share power. In the beginning it was not 4.5. They wanted 3 big clans, then one of the clans. Now they refuse it. We have to get the equal share as you. And they had militias with weapons. It's not about the quantity. It's about how many blood you shed, how many weapons you have, how much you can fight, how much you can kill. If you don't have those things, then this 4th, then they say we are ready to fight, and they left the conference. Then negotiations, they gave them full. So it became the 4 big clans with weapons who were involved in the fighting. Then the rest, they are of different origin. They are considered, nobody counted. If it was the number, I would say, okay, but it's another number. Because in this 0.5, there are so many different people, minorities. They can't fight. They don't have the weapon. They are somewhat civilized people because fighting does not make you. But in Somalia, that was the way they were counting. Because if you have your own militias, you say no, you don't have militias. So that's how it was 4.5. So if the big clan, if they get 10, 10, 10, then those in 0.5, they will get 5. It's not only again getting 5. The big clans, they will get the big shares, the good portfolios. They will get the president, the prime minister, the defense, the foreign, the finance. They will get those. 0.5 cannot touch those things. The 0.5, they will get the social sector. They will get something. Again, they are not getting the big portfolios. On the top of that, the government. There must be a woman because the international community wants. There have to be at least 2 or some women, otherwise UN and international community will not support us. So we have to bring women who will accept his post to be given to a woman. Big clans will fight. So let us give them 0.5. That's the way it works in some
Isn't that unfair? That's unfair, right? So what do we do? Fight. Using your voice, not weapons.
If I was not from the 0.5, I would have stand for the presidential Somali. But I know even I cannot become foreign minister, finance, women and such stuff.
Don't feel that. I cannot be one of those.
Good now.
Assalamu alaikum. Firstly, I want to say I'm very honored that you are here today with us and sharing your experiences with us. My name is Ifra Mohammed and I've been in Norway for the past 20 years, and I'm a Seattle generation, or should I say I was youth when the war broke. And I'm first generation Somali Norwegian in Norway, and I have 4 children who are all born in Norway. I would like to think that there are many mothers who are trying to do their best to contribute to this community and carry their weight, and I think many of the women if I spoke to, their motivation for doing something out of their lives is mainly when you go back to your country, how can I help my country? And that is to think about all of the women who are in Somalia, who are displaced in refugee camps, who have not the opportunities that we have in this country. We have peace, we have education, free education, we have so many opportunities that to not do anything and sit back and let it go to West, it will be dishonoring all those people, all those women who don't have those opportunities.
I think a lot of guys will be scared to say something, but I have a question. My question is that this being culture, you're talking about a lot. But my dad passed away while he's cooking for my mother. And there is no man's fault who did this. It's about the culture. But my question is, you're living in a European country, or America or Europe, so almost, I think, 25 years. The culture has been dying for the Somali society in Europe. But why the women are not changing for the Somali men if they see we are bad? That's my question.
We can start with
I don't
those
see
two.
the hands.
Okay.
In fact, we want to hear from the ladies, but I will answer the Mariam. If men are bad, I think, if I understand correctly, why women are not changing, right?
Yes.
Well, I want to say men are all bad. We can't really, that's a very bad generalization. There are good fathers who raise their kids. There are single fathers, good men who take care of their families. But I think men, Somalia went to a very tough period of the civil war, and men are a little bit more they're not as resilient. Like any man, whether they are from UK, white, black, pink, yellow, whatever it is. This is a generalization that men are not as resilient as women in any culture. So they came from the Civil War, traumatized, come to this country. As you know, any country, when a refugee comes, if the father is with the kids and the mother, there's a welfare system. I think welfare system is a good system, it's a good social safety net, but it kind of replaces the father in a way that kind of demoralizes them. And sometimes they don't understand that challenge. They were the breadwinners on average, pretty much many years, and they can't cope with the new environment. The mother is telling him, no, that's not the way to go. That's very hard to swallow. And then the kid is talking back to them, so they go through crisis, in my opinion, and that is part of the trauma, I think. I once said we should rehabilitate man, but if we rehabilitate man and empower women, that might not be good. So we want to take our men with us, however we can do it, because we do need, we need a family that's healthy, that's united, that's together. So whatever means that we can do that, we could do it. However, women, the ladies are taking care of the children, they try to make sure the family is all together. I think it's a difficult chore for also to go after the man who might at sometimes lost that whole family unity. So I think it's a bigger thing. Maybe we can think about trauma healing and counseling for all men and women and the children. I definitely see a lot of traumatized men and women and children. So don't be afraid when we say we traumatize. Our background from the Civil War, from refugee camps, some people experience their relatives were killed. You hear this trauma every day of war, of famine, of Dufan, everything. That adds a lot to our psychic, and men are less resilient. So I wouldn't say women should change, to change in what direction? To be as bad or as good, or in which direction? But then maybe they just, their role is to go after the kids. So the whole family is not lost. But in the general picture, I think Somalians don't understand the importance of counseling. And I think sometimes you need an innocent bystander to kind of talk to both individuals and come up with a common ground. Because there are good fathers who feel like the mothers took away their role, and there are good mothers who feel like they're taking care of the kids. So there is a lot of misunderstanding. Some men think that women are empowered, they don't want their men, and there are a lot of issues. So I think we need to look at a different picture. If we really want to have a united family, we should have a united family. It's good for us, it's good for women. It's hard to be a single mother. Would you agree? It's not easy. And it's hard a father to be removed from his children. That's a tough thing too. So maybe we should come up with a common ground and common approach to deal with this problem. This is a very big problem in the US, in Canada, in Norway, in UK, in Holland, in Sweden, and everywhere. It is a bigger problem. And then, I don't know. Hopefully, God will give us some sort of a solution. But we do have to look at things scientifically and maybe look at different approach. These younger generations who are in front of me, who are fluent in the language and who might have learned counseling and trauma healing, might have to kind of look at that approach and see if they can bring these parents together and see if they can work out things out. I mean, what can you say? It is a problem. It's a big problem.
But who said women have not changed? I don't agree with that. Women have changed. They are not what they were like 30 years ago. The Somali women are now more different than what they used to be. They are the breadwinners. They are the ones who are sending money, the hawalas, the money transactions. It is done by women. They are working even inside the country. When you go inside, the ones who are selling tea or whatever, the ones who are working. So 30 years ago, women were not responsible for such things. So the role of women is changing. That's how I see it. Okay, if I come to the question of the young lady over there, she said she's the young generation, she has small children, and she wants to contribute to her country. How is that? My advice is invest in your children. Your children, if you invest in them, think about their education, give them good education, bring them up to be good citizens and educated. In this you are helping also Somali, because those children are Somalis and Norwegians. So they are the future. So we have to prioritize. Now you have those young children. Just investing in them, teaching them good manners, quality education, and teaching them to be good Norwegian citizens, in itself, that's a lot for Somalia. Because when we have bad people from Somalia in those hosting countries, they will give a very bad image. But when in Norway they have good Somalis, they will be motivated. Norway is one of those countries who support Somalia. There are Norwegian institutions and organizations inside Somalia. So in bringing up your children in a good way is in itself a help to Somalia. Then the second thing is you can be engaged, you can follow what's going on in your country, you can through the news, through the television, and if you can take part. There are some projects, good projects, for example, like when it comes to education, there are so many children who need education, and it doesn't cost that much. To educate a child, there is the breakdown, how much does it cost to educate a child. So you can support those good causes while you are in Norway, but focus on where you are. In the UK we have this slogan, think globally and act locally. You are here, you have to teach your children to be good citizens, and you have to educate them. And maybe Dr. Hadan will add something on the top of that. Thank you.
You can be allowed to have more identities. You could say, yeah, you're Muslim, you're Somali, and you're proud. Whereas in Europe, except for England and France, migration, especially in Scandinavia, is pretty new. So the whole consensus of a multicultural identity is a bit more challenging here. I was just wondering if you have any reflections on that, the differences between the northern countries and the US. My second question as well is, you are very feminist in the way that you both are speaking. Do you have any thoughts on intersectionality and maybe how you have used these theories in your own experiences or in academia? Thank you.
Shana?
Is somebody
I'd like to thank both of you for coming here and giving us this inspiring speech. My question is, being from a war-torn country myself, I can reflect upon many of the experiences, for instance, my mother had. I was lucky enough to be brought up in Norway. I'm happy for that. But come to the question, Dr. Mariama, you started up with a very good point that the media has a lot to say. They're so biased against certain cultures, certain groups, and how do you think we can lobby or do things, because you can see there's no media present here. I think it's a very important discussion going on here, but as you see, there is no Norwegian media here. It's a pity, I must say. So how do you think we should lobby to, also towards media to for them coming to these diasporas, interesting diasporas like these? Thank you.
On the clan, oh wow, clan is the cancer, it's really cancer for Somalis. So if you can fight it, please be the movement. There is an anti-tribalism movement. I don't know if you, anyone member of the anti-tribalism movement? Good, so we should really act on it, because I really think that it's good to come up with common identity. Even maybe party lines, whatever that unites people. It's better than clan, because the more you go deeper into the clan, clans have just layers of onions. The more you go and dig deeper, the more it stinks. It's bad. So in fact, if there's any problem we have, it's the clan system. It destroyed our country 24 years. Now we got kind of coming up with new ways of in fact, empowering that clan. So yes, it is bad, it's cancer. The younger generation will think about ways to fight it. The young lady who just spoke about the multiple identity, feminist? Me, absolutely not. Gender equity activist? Yes, I am. I think there is a fine line. I have a 17-year-old daughter who is finishing up high school. And we always arguing, because she tells me you are a feminist, and I tell her no, I'm not a feminist. There is a distinct difference between fighting for women's rights, equal opportunity in political, social, and economic resources. But there is a difference. Feminists have taken, especially in the US, a twist which I might not conquer. So I think whether you're going to be a feminist or whether you call yourself you're an activist and you like gender equality, I think we might have a common agenda and common goals. So that is one. I don't consider myself a feminist, to be honest with you. Regarding the multiple identity, I think that is fine. I have to say I'm American, and I am proud to be American. I am Muslim, I'm woman, and I'm Somali. And I'm proud to all of them, and I know each role. I'm loyal to America, and I said I will shed my blood to it, if you like it or not. I will love my country too, of origin. I have my relatives, my culture, my upbringing, yeah? So you have to be loyal to both. And for you to be identified to this culture you are in now, you have to show the best of you. You cannot be a loser or a homeless. You have to be educated, you have to change the landscape. They have to see productive citizens. Like Marian said, if you have been educated by the taxpayers' money, and I know you have other baggages, of course, trauma, some of you might not been in school ever, and you come here, they look at your age, they place you in whichever grade your age, is consistent with. So there's a lot of challenges, but we have to showcase who we are. Somalians consider themselves very hard-working, smart people. Show it. But if majority of you are in jail or selling drugs, then who is going to want you? Nobody's going to want you. I'm not saying you are it, but we have to make sure we have to pick up our broken ones. Who visits the kids in the jail? Did you guys help out? Did you do any trauma programs for them? Did some of you who have been successful in this country ever try to find out these students who are not performing? What are you doing for them? It's your responsibility to do the community work. The community work doesn't mean that when a minister from your country is coming, clap the hand and give them dinner. They don't need it. Help your own community. The ones who are suffering, the ones who are in jail, the ones who are really having a hard time to cope with. It's not because they are inferior, it's just maybe lack of opportunity, luck. Maybe they're not strong. You are their sisters and brothers. And then show the Norwegian community you are helping hands, but don't be part of the problem. So multiple identity, I do believe, could consist, so long as you are productive and contributing member of the society who adopted you. And you can, like Marian said, you can also be a contributor to your back home. Because when Somalians here are great, when they're doing very well, when you shine and say these are the most important refugee groups that ever came to Norway, Norway will look Somalia as contributing members of the society. But if you become a problem and a baggage, then you become stigmatized. That is all I can say. Thank you. Okay, so you just found a friend. Make sure that friend is everywhere whenever you have a dialogue like this. Or invite the media, send the media outreach or whatever it is. But the thing is, today media, no one begs to have a media. You have to be it. Create your own voice. Be the voice that you want to be, right? But if we sit here and say the media is not coming to us, I don't know who to blame, to be honest with you. Thank you.
I think most of the questions are answered. But what I would like to say is we need to be patient. Rome was not built in a day. When we are comparing like America to Scandinavia, it's multicultural, very diverse. Big Asian community, Pakistanis, Bengals, Hindus, very big Asian communities, and also Afro-Caribbeans, and on top of that now the Somalis are those who arrived last, because the Somalis in Birmingham and Leicester, they are not the original Somalis who came to the UK. They are from Europe, from Holland, from Sweden, from... Now, when you look at Birmingham, when I first came to Birmingham, in the area where I was living, every 5 minutes there is a mosque here, there. Wow. And in Holland, all those years I couldn't even see one mosque. So why? The reason is this community arrived earlier than the Asian community, and they were there for more than 40 years. In Birmingham, when half of for this. Yes, and Barrow, yes, in Birmingham. When you go down to that place, you don't see even a white person. It is full of Asians, different people. And I read in that same Barrow, before some years, during the elections, the Labour and the other party, just the slogan they choose, they got. The slogan that they choose was the other party. If you want a nigger for your neighbor, choose Labour. So just that slogan. If you want a nigger for your neighbor, vote Labour. People were running from Labour and voting to the other party. And the other party got. In that same place, now the majorities, Asians, Black and Africans, everybody. So it didn't become just accidentally, but it took time, patience, struggle, all these, that we have the diverse multicultural Britain. Again, when the first Asian community arrived in like places like not Birmingham but other cities also, the British people, for them even the curry and the things that they cook, it was weird, the weird smell. Then those small children, the Asian children, everything was weird to them, just the smell of the curry. And then, after 40 years, I don't know whether it was a prime minister or foreign minister, I read it. And one of the, I think it was a foreign minister of the UK, in public he said his favorite dish is chicken tikka masala. So it didn't come accidentally. So it took time and patience, and the community was there 50 years, and they contributed positively. Also here, we need patience. Because just we are 10, 20 years here. So we need patience. We need to integrate positively. We need to teach and show the Norwegians that we are good people, that we are trustworthy, that we are good citizens. Then the day will come that even Norway will become multicultural, like America or England. Nothing comes accidentally, so it needs time. But if, as I see, things are changing differently, like Holland, when we arrived in Holland, it was above my imagination. The Dutch people, they come to you. In England, it's not like that. The British people are not like that. The Dutch people, they come to you, coffee drinker. They will drink with you coffee. They will invite you to their houses. They like the refugee community. But afterwards, after 9/11, too many things changed, and people's attitude changed. So also we are part of the problem. So what I advise is, be good citizens without compromising your norms and values, without compromising your religion. Be good citizen. Show Norway that you are trustworthy. And Norway one day will be like England and America. That's regarding the multicultural and diversity. Another question was why only women and how women can, yes, feminist and this stuff. The thing is, this conference itself, when we were invited, we were told that the topic is about Somali women in diaspora, in religion, and it was not say the Somali family. I think now it's the 6th time I'm coming to Norway. I came to Norway in 2007, and I came in 2008, and it was about integration. It was a Somali community, and I had 2 different topics. One was about integration, how we can make good integration, and one was about the responsibility of the Somali Muslim family. When the topic is family, you will bring the father, everybody together. But now we were given to speak about the role of women. That was what we were given to speak. It's not that we are feminists. It's not, it's not that we are excluding men. Women, there are so good men that fight for the cause of women, better than women. So it's a responsibility together, men and women. And tonight, why we are focusing on women, because that was the task given to us by Obama. The role of the Somali women. It was not the family. What else? That's what I remember. Thank you.
Somalia. And one of the things I found out were women and youth were not being included in the process. And when we look at how the women are not being included, I compared how women in Afghanistan and women in Rwanda were able to use that to their advantage. And women in Rwanda were able to get about 64% representation in parliament. And I really don't know the figure in Afghanistan, but it was quite significant as well. One of the things I noticed with the women in Somalia is there's a lot of mistrust and lack of cohesion when they're trying to push for their agenda. How can we change that? Do you have any suggestions on how, for example, now the constitution review process, how women can make sure that the 30% is going to be, the 30% quota would be included in the constitution when the review process is passed? And how will they be able to get the representation that they have been fighting for since the ARTA conference? Thank you very much.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum. I don't want to talk English because my English is not perfect, so I will be speaking Somali. iskaga difaacdaan markuu maxaa la qof biini maadiin uu yiraahdo hadee sida anagoo kale xaggan waxbaad baratay dee nolosha wad meel dheer baad ka gaadhay laakiin norwijigu qaar baa kugu odhanaya like anagoo kale ma tihid inaad gerinaaf ma fahamtay wadankiina markaad tegtay dadku waxay kugu odhanayaa like Soomaali ma tihid nacam waxaad tahay qof meel dhexaad ku jira. So my question is, how can you tackle the critique? Sidaad kumato ugu jawaabi kartaa dadkaas oo kale waa mahadsantihiin.
I'm happy to be at the last microphone because of I am me from me group. My English is broken, so I would like to ask one question. You said that the international community will not accept if there is no woman in the political system. International community, and you said that was so. Can we say that the international community will not accept it, or will hinder any politician or institution or organization which can hinder their interest in the country? There's one question. Maama Maryan waxaa hor u dhahday dowladaha oo caawiya Soomaaliya markii baarlamaanka ama siyaasadda ay timaado maysan aqbalaynin inay dumar soo galaan haddii dumar ay ka waayaan macnaha mays aqbalayn marka waxay ku qasbayeen maamulka in oo mar walba baarlamaanka ama dowladda ay ka mid noqoto dumar ay kasoo mid noqdaan dumar weliba percentage cayman ee ayaga ku xireen maadaama ayaga ee sababtaas awooddaas u leeyihiin inay ku qasbaan maamulka samaysmaayo ma dhihi karnaa haddii ay u arki laayaan waxyaalo ka hor imaanaya caqabadahooda ama danahooda gaarka ee dowladahaas way ka hor istaagaan macnaha haddii ay noqoto politician oo dad siyaasiyiin ah ama ha noqoto system oo kasoo horjeeda ama ka hor imaanayo wadamadan oo international community lagu yeelayo oo macnaha daneeya arrimaha Soomaaliya haddii ay su-aashaad fahamtay waa okay.
I give it to you both. I'll speak for the men because I was not. At some point, I was not really agree with about lecture or the information given, and it was actually understandable. But maybe you can give some misconceptions. That's why. So my question is, in my opinion, I don't think we have such a bad. Although I support gender equality and the role of women, and I don't think we can compare. Sorry, I'm a bit. I don't think we can compare about some other countries like where there's a women are so disadvantaged, they subjugated to honor killings and stuff like that. We don't have that, and I'm thankful to that. I think we have the only thing that women are not totally participating is about the decision-making process of the political system, and I think that's due to the women not taking their responsibility because I'm 30 years old, and there's the first female politician I met. It's Mariam Qasim. So I think it's you not assuming your responsibility. It's not about the men being bad or not. Of course, we are in a process where we've been in a civil war, and we have to find a form. We have to find system to put together. And this is just a transition. This will pass away, and you're welcome to assume your career. But I think there is of course some challenge. I'm not saying that, but I'm not agree with about the history about the camel, the poem about the camel and stuff like that. Thank you.
I think the last one was only comments, it was not a question. So you have 3 questions to answer now.
And I think out of the 3 questions, one belongs to my youth and women involvement in the process. Yes, and that's precisely what I was saying. Even though, according to the UN statistics, 74% of Somali population composed of youth and women, and they have no voice and not able to come to the decision-making process. It's unfortunate, and I think on one hand it has to do with that 4.5 process. Not only it's the big clan, whatever it's a very limited resources anyway to allocate human capital based on 4.5, not for merit or experience. If it were for merit or experience, then more women will be involved and more youth will be involved. Yes, it's very different from Rwanda case also, because Rwanda, their civil war was very quick. They were able to gather their problems very quickly. And also the international community, if you do the research, has dealt with Rwanda differently. They were given a very truth reconciliation processes early on. That was not happening in Somalia. Yet today, it has not happened today. We have not had any truth reconciliation from the bottom of the heart. So people who maim and killed and chase each other are still sitting along clan lines trying to decide, but the old wounds are always coming back, and it's causing problems for Somalia. So maybe the hope is, as you've been doing the research and being a PhD student, maybe you can shed a light on those and offer some solutions. That's what I think. But yes, we do agree. The whole world agrees that 74% of the Somali population are not part of the decision-making process, unfortunately. And it's not the who's ruling the country. If you don't have women and youth, you're not going to have a future, believe me. Whether it's a conservative party or whether it is back home here, if you don't include the youth and women, you're leaving a huge population out of the political process. I feel for you, the young lady who said if you go to Somalia, actually they call it Dibachog, Yedelchir. This is a very serious issue. And of course, Somalians like to divide along some lines. It's either through the regions, this region to that region, or clan, this clan or this clan, or Qurbachog, iyo. I don't know what Qurbachog, iyo, Durchog, iyo, Dibachog. I forgot what it was. But anyway, yes, there are at times we feel, even though this country, this is our homes, we have been here, some of us raise kids, our children are born here, but we do feel sometimes discriminated. That's a fact of life. Whether you are looking for a job and your name looks like Muhammad or Maryam, you can write it Mo, maybe. That's definitely, your resume can really cause a problem. Start from your resume. It's true, I'm not joking. There is a study in America, by the way. African Americans have been in America, and they built America. And today, there's a new study that came out and said some of the African Americans, when they look for a job, people look at their resumes, and there apparently, I didn't know, the names can be, you could have an African American name or white American name. And some of the African American names are not picked because of their names. And the same is true with, people can divide along any lines. and it's a fact of life. Discrimination is out there. If you think that you will ever wipe out discrimination, no, it's not going to happen. But you just have to try your best. So Somalians are also worse in that sense. So my suggestion to you is be the best you be here, and when you go back, you just have to say, I'm Somali too. Thank you. I don't know if I have any other question. I think the other question belonged to Mariam, and I will turn the microphone to her. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The person who asked the question completely misunderstood me. I never say the international community forces Somalia. It is UN resolutions, human rights laws, gender equity, all those things are the things that the international community and the UN, they are the things that they look at. So many governments, you see, their human rights portfolio is not good, there are reports. How they treat women is not, so there are reports. So when a country like Somalia, which is dependent on the international community for everything, I'm sorry to say that, but for everything we depend on the international community. So it's not that Norway is coming or somebody, America is coming, put a woman in your cabinet. It's not like that. But they want to get support. So we are respecting human rights. We are respecting those resolutions, because there are UN resolutions which say that women have to get the participation of all political, social, economic. So we are respecting all those. So when you have women in parliament, women in the cabinet, that's what the government thinks that makes this picture better in front of the international community. It's not that the international community is coming and telling you, no, make 2 women here, make 3 women here. No, but there are other lines. What in this world, what do we want? Gender equality. So women have to be a part of the decision-making process. So if you don't put any women, then you will be criticized for that, as there are criticisms for the human rights. So that's what I was bringing up. It was not that international community is coming and dictating things for you. But the government itself, when they sit, when they think, they have to put some women. If you want to be among the countries who respect the UN and the international laws, that was what I was trying to say. It was not that I was saying the international community forces. So that's a misunderstanding. And I think I clarified. I want to come to that young lady over there. When I was in Holland, there was a course that I used to attend. And when they, it's not only you, it's everybody who left their countries and are in another country. The feeling is not only you. And there was a film. It was filmed from the Turkish and Moroccans who were in Holland, because those were the people who were in Holland, the foreigners. And one man, old man, was speaking. He said, I went back to Turkey after so many years. And he said, I was strange in Turkey. I was strange, I don't know what happened. People were not accepting me. I was not a part of that. He said, I came to Holland, I'm not a part of here, I'm not a part of that, I'm lost in the middle. It's not only you. So many people have those feelings.
I wasn't talking for general, I wasn't talking
yes.
about
Yes. So the solution is now That was the old generation, but now you are the young generation, and with time, it will be solved. Now most of the Somali governments lately, the ministers were from the diaspora. Although we have all those names, but still we are getting something. So I wish that we can see the day that you can go back to Somalia and be accepted there, and you can live in Norway as a Norwegian citizen. Thank you very much.
The final point of our conference, and I will ask our guests, to summarize what they have gotten. And the question that they will, based on their summary, is how can a young lady who has been graduated from the school, got her degree, or can be a good mother, overcome the challenge she faces, and benefit from the opportunities she has here in diaspora. Based on that, your summary, and welcome.
From tonight, what I have seen, I can see a lot of hope. Because all those young people from the Somali community, eager to listen to us, have so many questions. It means that they want to get the best of what they can. So I'm really happy about that, and I can see that there is a hope coming. If I go back to his question, either a mother or it's not either or. You can be both. Yes, it's challenging. Back home it was different. You had the extended family. You had people who can help you. But here it's only you and the mother and father. Again, we are just speaking about women because the whole issue is around women. So raising up the children, and also you have a degree and you have to bring up the children. It's not either or. You can do both together, but you need the balance. You have to be balanced. You need to prioritize. Some things are priority, number one. Some things can wait, some things can't wait. If I give you myself, my example, I had a child in Holland. My youngest child was born in Holland. For me, to breastfeed, for me is very important. Because I'm a doctor, and I know what breastfeeding means for the child. So, and I want to go to the Dutch school and those things. I have to prioritize. Breastfeeding is just for a limited time. It's not going for years. So I can balance my education, my work, and also the government, they give 1 year to the woman here, I think. So I breastfeed my youngest one, who was born in Holland, 2 years. So because breastfeeding, it is that time. It cannot wait. That's just my experience. Maybe wrong, right? I'm not saying that I was right, but that's how I was prioritizing. Then, after weaning, it's easier. I can go to the Dutch school, I can do this, I can do that. So we need to prioritize. What's the right time? Sometimes a mother with teenage children. Teenage are more difficult than young ones. When my children were very young, it was easier. When they become teenage, they need time to spend. They need so many time you have to spend with them. I was working in the UK, in Birmingham, and so many opportunities, full-time job, I cannot go. I was looking, I was applying, something that starts 9 and finishes 3. Because by 9, everybody left home. And after 3, they start coming. So I want to spend time with them. Then I had this job, and every day I used to work from 9 till 3. And 3, I leave work and children are coming from college, from school, from wherever. We arrive at the same time, more or less, or I'm earlier a little bit. That's also prioritizing. That's just I'm sharing with my own experience. It can be wrong, it can be right, but that was what I was doing. Then after that, when I have seen they are a little bit grown up, that was when I went to real full-time job, real full-time. Still, I didn't go to my real career because there were night shifts. And night, I cannot. As a doctor, you have to do night shifts. And night, I cannot afford to be away from the children. So I sacrifice it. That's what I have done. Right, wrong is not the issue. I sacrificed my career, the medical thing, because of the night shifts. Because I want to spend night with my children. So I was working in education, in other fields, and that I love. So for different people, everybody's unique. Everybody's situation is different than the other. So you need to find the balance, you need to prioritize, you need to see what's more important, what's less important. So it's not like mathematics, 1 + 1 = 2. It's not like that. For everybody it is different. So find out what works for you. Look at your children, look at your world, so find out the balance, find out what works for you. Thank you.
To thank everybody, thank you all for coming and listening to us. I did like the dialogue. I wish it was a little bit more open debate, but I feel like we're a little bit dictators, but hopefully whatever it's worth, I hope what we said is someone can take home and use it. So I really do appreciate you coming and spending the evening with us, really do. I'm also happy to see that young girls, majority of them here, are listening, because if someone is coming to this conference, whether it's Monday night, Monday evening, where someone might have school, you must have an interest. You have created an interest, and it matters to you, and we're grateful to that. Coming back to being, how can you be a woman, a mother, working and going to school in the diaspora? I think I'm going to take the same route that Marian took and tell you my story in what I did. I was going to school. I have 2 children at the time, went back to school to do my PhD, which was 5 years, and then worked full-time. And the most important thing I can take away is to strike a balance. I never attended a wedding, Somali wedding that time. I wanted to make sure I take my kids to school when I could, and also make sure I come back home when they come back from school. And the best thing that can happen to a child is for their mother or the parents to be there when they come in from school. A long day after they miss their parents' love and compassion, but the best thing they can see is their mother and father smiling at them. So don't take that away from them. They need it. Nurturing is a therapy, is something that the kids need. So you could be working, if you like it, you could be going to school, and you could raise your kids. You can do it all. But like we said, you're gonna have to give up. I'm an economist. There's something called opportunity cost. You give up something to get something. So you have to give up having your friends, chatting on the internet, living out, even the way you cook is going to change. So because you want to strike a balance, you don't want to compromise your kids' love and raising, you want to raise them the way you want, you still have to take them to Quran, you still have to make sure you read to them before the night ends, and you want to also improve and empower yourself through education. Education is the only empowerment a woman can have. And to do that, you have to do all of it in one. Or you can take time, like Marian said, if you're breastfeeding, the world's not gonna end. If you have time in your life, you can take the time for a month or 2 years, and then strike that balance again. I did have my daughter right in the middle of my PhD when I was working full-time, taking my comprehensive exams, and also raising my other 2 kids. And I did it all, but I'm not gonna tell you it was easy. It was tough decisions to make, a lot of nights, a lot of coffee, a lot of prayers from God, and it all worked out. You have to be good and think good. Thank you so much.